Okay, that better. How about now? I bet you got it now. You got it now. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start this all over again. Just shows you how inexperienced that I am doing this live stream stuff, people. I've got microphones, I've got cameras, I've got 3 laptops going and 2 phones, and I'll tell you, it's more than I can handle. But now that you got me, I'm going to start all over again. I want to welcome all of you to this channel. I want to thank you for coming to my live stream. It means the world to me. And I want to thank my subs. My subs are the best people in this world. Without them, there would be no Deplorable Bobby. And speaking of Deplorable Bobby, I've changed my name. Thanks to Tony Patriot, he gave me some great advice. He said I needed to shorten my name in order to get people to click on my channel. And people, it worked. I wondered how Tony Patriot got to 1,000 so quick. And now I'm starting to understand. It takes a lot of work and it's a lot of networking, but shorten that name and it lets people get to you quicker. So that's what I did. And I thank you, Tony Patriot. And I haven't heard the Great Dirtbag say anything, but I want to thank the Great Dirtbag. I want to thank 12B Georgia. I want to thank you for your kind PayPal donations. They're greatly appreciated. I want to thank my friends, Dangerous Freedom, Liberty Smith, and a couple of others, Spirit Talker. These people have helped me. I've talked with them on the phone as well as Tony Patriot. And I'm going to tell you, it's good to communicate with these friends that you have on these channels. So don't be afraid to call them up, talk to them. We've got to socialize as well as promote our channels. So we're patriots. We're all friends. Tony Patriot said that we are the Patriot family. And I stand by Tony. And because he said it, I think he's the one that named this group. And we are the Patriot family. But people, I want to talk to you about a little bit of insanity in our government. You know, insanity is a progress. It doesn't just happen overnight. And the Democrats wanting to unseat President Trump are totally insane. The debates last week proved that, just how insane they really are. And I'm going to touch on a few things that they touched on just to give you a good laugh. The Dems have completely broken from reality. They don't care what is true. They don't care what's possible. They don't even know what is real. They're living in some kind of world outside of reality. I don't understand how Democrats can be so crazy. I want to say right quick, Craven Capacian, Dangerous Freedom, Jervis, Spirit Talker, John DeGoldis. I appreciate y'all for checking in. You know, Dems live in a place of fantasy and self-righteousness. They're always coming up with these crazy ideas that it has to be a fantasy. And then they pat themselves on the back for coming up with these lies, with these things that could never be a part of American society. I want to talk to you about Julian Castro. Julian Castro was an Obama cabinet member, and now he's a presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. But I want to tell you just how crazy and how stupid these Democrats are. And they're not going to change, people. So listen to this. Castro explained in the debate that men who get pregnant have a moral right to a taxpayer abortion. Now, wait a minute. Men have a right to a taxpayer-funded abortion. Well, personally, I don't know who he's talking about. Well, actually, I do, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. You know, the crowd cheered when he said that at the debate. They just jumped up and screamed and clapped and raised all kinds of cane. But unfortunately for Castro, there's one problem. There is absolutely zero people on the planet Earth who fit that description. Not one person fits that description. And the reason is this: a biological man cannot get pregnant. Okay? It's plain and simple. A biological man cannot get pregnant. So what that means is Castro's pretending otherwise, and it's pure craziness, and by definition, it's lunacy, people. He's a lunatic. He's talking about the transgendered, and now he's trying to get them to have free taxpayer abortions. Come on, people. Trans females shouldn't have to pay for their abortions. We should never have to pay for their abortions. That's racist, according to Castro. It's racist not to pay for these people. But I'm going to tell you that right now. Castro agreed with Pocahontas that it shouldn't be legal for immigrants to break our laws. Think about that for a minute when I go back to Castro here. A transgendered female. That means that's a female who wants to be a man. She's been taking testosterone. She's growing a little bit of a mustache, maybe a little facial hair. Her boobs might have shrunk a little bit, but she still has a vagina. Now tell me, if you're a transgender female wanting to be a man, why are you having sex with men? You can't be a transgender female, homosexual female. It don't work, people. Now, either you're not a transgendered female that is a male, which is absolutely impossible to ever achieve, because God made a plan. God made man and he made women in his own image, and they were to have dominion over the earth. He didn't say a dad blame thing about her being half man and him being half woman. This is not the way it goes, people. Transgendered people, they think that they have a right. They think that they can come into our society, into God-loving Christian communities, and dictate to us what we do and what we believe. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that a transgendered male who was a female is not a male. And a man who has his tallywhacker cut off is not a female. Just because they turn it inside out and he can have sex doesn't mean he's a female. He's still a male. That was God's plan, and it's going to be that way till the end. You can never change your sexual identity, no matter how hard you try. But people, I want to tell you something about this idiot, Castro and Pocahontas. They said it should be illegal for immigrants to break laws. Did you hear that? It should be illegal for illegal immigrants to break a law. So anything they do is not against the law. They can break whatever law they want to, but they aren't held accountable for it, according to Pocahontas and Castro. So what are we going to do now? We're going to let these illegal immigrants keep coming in like they have been by the hundreds and the thousands every day. But now we're going to let them break our laws, and we're not going to arrest them. We're not going to put them in jail. We're not going to deport them. We're going to let them stay here. And you know why they're going to stay here? They're going to stay here because it's a voter base for the demon rats. Plain and simple. There's no other explanation for it. They want to infiltrate our country with Muslims up in Minnesota and Michigan, and they want to infiltrate our southern border with illegal Mexicans, Guatemalans, and Hondurans, and everybody else, because it's a voter base for the demon rats. Plain and simple. It's nothing more than that. You know, the Democrats say that they have power, and they say soon they will have your money. Let me tell you what de Blasio said. This idiot from New York City. De Blasio promised to seize our money and give it all to his supporters. Now, he said this in the debate, people. I don't know if you watched it. I couldn't stand it long enough to watch it. I watched about 10 minutes, and when Beto O'Rourke started speaking broken English and spoken Spanish, I had to turn it off. But anyway, here's what de Blasio said. De Blasio promised. He promised to seize our money and give it to his supporters. He said, my supporters deserve your money more than you. I'm talking to you, John. I'm talking to you, Ron Dangerous Freedom. I'm talking to you, Jervis and Alex Disabled Vet, the Great Dirtbag, Pete the Patriot, 12B. I'm talking to you. He wants your money. And he says he's obligated to get it. He said there's plenty of money, but it's in the wrong hands. We will take their money from my supporters. People, do you see where this de Blasio is coming from? He's not even hiding the fact that he is anti-American. He's going to take your money and give it to his people. People, de Blasio is the one that lit up the World Trade Center in pink when they passed that terrible abortion law. Abortion up until time of birth. He lit up the World Trade Centers. No, it wasn't. I apologize. It was the Empire State Building. He lit that thing up in pink to celebrate. And people were dancing in the streets. People, we need to take New York, LA, and a couple of places around the country, and we need to drop them off in the middle of the ocean somewhere because they are on a different planet. They don't belong to the United States of America. Americans are God-fearing, God-loving, patriotic Americans who support our President Donald Trump and all that he does because he's making a difference. But because we support him, we're the demons. We're the evil people. But people, it's them. It's the Democrats. They're the ones that are so pro-abortion. They're the ones that are open borders. They're the ones that say, let pedophiles walk free. Pedophilia should be taught as a normal sexual orientation. People, the Democrats are evil. They're evil to their heart. Any human being that can look somebody in the eye and say, you should kill your child is evil. It's plain and simple. You can't love God and support abortion. You know, some of the least impressive in America are making the rules according to the Democrats. Get that? Some of the least impressive in America are making the rules. People, I'm going to tell you, Donald Trump is impressive. He walked in here, he took the damn presidency, and he walked away with it. So I think that's pretty impressive. And everything he's done since then, except for one thing, I have somewhat against him on the bump stock decision. But other than that, I support him on everything he's done. But Donald Trump, please, as our president, don't attack our Second Amendment again. I ask you that with love and understanding. But you know, the 2020 Dems, they stood together today. They stood together to focus. They focused on the enemy. You know who that enemy is? Donald J. Trump, our president. Biden and Castro accused President Trump of cuddling up to a dictator and posing for photo ops. Well, let me tell you something. If Hillary Rotten Clinton had been elected instead of Donald J. Trump, we would be at war with Korea right now. We would have hundreds of thousands of men in battle, and many Americans would be dying right now because of Hillary Rotten Clinton. So I'm going to tell you, yeah, President Trump is a diplomat. He's a businessman. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to get things done. So when he talked to Kim Jong-un, let me tell you something right now. I don't think for 1 minute that he takes his back seat to Kim. I don't think it for a minute. I think he might meet him in the middle of the road, but that's what you do as a diplomat. You meet people in the middle of the road. So he's getting some things done. And actually, you know, President Trump actually was the first president to ever walk across the DMZ between North and South Korea. And for you that aren't military, the DMZ is the demilitarized zone. That's a no-go zone for both sides. But Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un walked across that border together and walked right back into South Korea, and they started having their talks. I'm telling you, people, Donald Trump is a diplomat of the best kind. He's not going to be taking a second seat to anybody. You know, we need a president who can restore our standing in the world, and he's doing that. We need to heal relationships with allies, and he's doing that. And if the allies don't want to play right, write them off. Throw sanctions on them. Either play fair or get the hell out of the game. Donald Trump ain't going to play this penny-ante stuff because he's here to deliver for us, the American people. He's here to deliver for us. And I believe that with all my heart. And dangerous freedom, I hope you believe it too. Hey, Rena Thomas, groundbreaking. Pete the Patriot, I want to thank y'all for hanging around. Thank you for DM for moderating. I appreciate you. Thank you, Spirit Talker. Ashley, I haven't seen you. I hope you're here. Well, you know, Trump met with Kim in the DMZ, like I said. And when he walked across that border with Kim and back across, he made history. History. History B, write this down. This is a moment in history that you'll want to teach your students. But I want to tell you what Elizabeth Warren said. She accused President Trump of engaging in love letters with Kim. Come on, people. Everybody knows that heads of state write letters back and forth, and it's really good if there can be some kind of camaraderie and have an understanding in this letter writing process without making demands and threatening. So because Trump and Kim actually wrote a couple of decent letters to each other, Elizabeth Warren says that Trump is in a love relationship with Kim. Come on, people. Trump is not gay, and neither is Kim. Kim's got 600 concubines at his disposal at any time, and they're all female, I guarantee you. Bernie Sanders said, Trump's action in Korea weakens the State Department. If we're going to bring peace to this world, we need a strong State Department, and President Trump and Pompeo are the weakest State Department in the history of America, according to Bernie Sanders. Americans, we have to unite. We must unite against the Democrat agenda of destroying America. We patriots refuse socialism in our country, and we claim Americanism. Do you agree with me on that, people? Leave me a comment. Talk to me a little bit. Give me a question. Interact with me a little bit. I promise I'll slow down talking if you'll interact with me. But you know, all the demon rats' plans will do nothing but destroy our American society as we know it. It's time to take the fight to the Democrats. We must take on the leadership of the demon rat party. We never hear anything on the mainstream media about life, liberty, the pursuit of justice, or success in America. We never hear that from the demon rat party. We never hear it from these demon rats running for president. People, We have to stand strong behind the one true man that deserves our support, and that is Donald J. Trump. You know, Democrats, they embrace the Soviet Union dream, and they hate the American dream. We will never have a serious discussion on their idiotic proposals and never know how to pay for the things that they want. All we hear from these demon rats is tax, 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 more tax. Take away the guns. Take away the guns. Outlaw guns. Take them out of the hands of the American citizens. Go and take them out of their house. Take these guns away from God-loving American citizens. And once they get your guns, they're going to start hollering abortion. Let's kill more babies. Let's murder more babies. Let's murder these would-be Republicans. But no, that's not what it's all about, people. Margaret Sanger in 1933 started Planned Parenthood. She started Planned Parenthood for one reason, and that was to exterminate the black race. And it's the same today. I know you don't want to hear it. It's terrible to hear. It sounds racist. And it was. At the very beginning, it was racist. But thanks to LBJ and his welfare system, and Margaret Sanger and her abortion system, so many people have been deceived. I'm not going to call out any race, but you know what I'm talking about. They have been deceived. They've been courted. They've been hugged and given freebies until, like LBJ said, he said, and I'm not going to say the word, but he said those ends will support the Democratic Party for 200 years if I give them welfare. People, that's what it's all about. It's all about racism. The Democrat Party are the biggest racist that ever set foot on American soil. They are the racist, not us. Being pro-life means that you cannot be a racist. It's impossible to be a racist and be pro-life. Michelle, do you agree with me? Jervis? Anybody else? Florida Jim, how you doing? Mike Dwayne, good to see you. Tony Patriot, thank you, brother. Thank you for being here, 12B, Georgia. But don't you agree? You know, if the demon rats lost the gun issue, and if they lost the abortion issue, and if they lost the tax issue, they would have no leg to stand on. So what that means is we, as American patriots, God-fearing, God-loving, pro-life patriots, need to stand for what's right. And we will. I know come 2020, we're going to put President Donald Trump right back in office. But people, you have to be aware of these demon rats and what they're trying to do. And that's all I'm trying to do, is just to give you a little idea of how they're pushing back against our president. But I want to tell you a little something here about the Supreme Court. People, I told you weeks ago, they're not going to hear anything on abortion. They're going to kick it back to the lower court, the Seventh Circuit, or wherever it goes, and it's going to stand by the lower court ruling. So Friday, the Supreme Court did exactly what I've been saying they would do if abortion cases ever came before them. The Supreme Court refused to let Alabama defend its ban on a second-term method of abortion that was struck down last year. The lower court struck this down last year before Alabama came out with their new total restriction on abortion. This is an old law that was struck down. Let's go a little deeper here. The Supreme Court already refused to hear the abortion cases from Louisiana and Indiana. And now they're refusing to hear cases from Alabama. Alabama was trying to stop one of the most heinous types of abortion that there is on this planet. People, if you have a weak stomach, look away. The method involved in these abortions that they're defending so hard is the tearing and the ripping of piece by piece of what was once a living unborn child in the womb, and they tear it out piece by piece. All of these cases and any new ones that pertain to abortion, I guarantee you, they're simply going to be kicked back to the lower court, just like I said they would be, because they, in effect, the Supreme Court will not touch the abortion issue. I don't know if they're afraid of it. I don't know what the deal is. But I'm going to tell you, the Supreme Court fails we Americans. They fail the United States Constitution, and they fail our president because they do nothing on abortion. If an abortion case comes to them, they kick it back and they're scared to death. So what are we going to do with the Supreme Court? We thought that Roberts and Kavanaugh was going to make a difference. But people, it didn't make a difference. He was a Republican conservative right up until the time he became justice. And now he's just like the rest of them. People, it's time that the idea of Ruth Bader Ginsburg disappears. But it seems that our Supreme Court justices are siding with her on almost every issue. People, it makes no sense. These Supreme Court justices are supposed to be pro-Trump, pro-American, and conservative, but they're not showing it. I don't know what their problem is, and I'm not going to try to accuse them, but people, it ain't right. But you know, I'll tell you something else about Mike Pence, our vice president. Friday, a federal judge blocked an Indiana law that bans second trimester abortions, just days before the law was set to go into force. People, why do you think the ACLU and Planned Parenthood are trying so hard to stop anything that's pro-life? It's simply abortion, abortion, abortion. Murder our preborns. But let's let illegal immigrants come across our border, and then when they break our laws, let's don't charge them with breaking our laws. Let them break our laws and get away with it, according to Pocahontas and Castro. So what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to tell you something. The order putting the restrictive Indiana law on hold was just hours after the Supreme Court declined to receive that similar law I just discussed in Alabama. You know, they sought to end evacuation abortions, the dilation of the uterus and the ripping away of that baby, but it was overturned. They would not even listen. They don't care about your preborns. Republicans in the Indiana legislature call the procedure, and I love this, it's a dismemberment abortion. Dismemberment abortion. That's what it is. I'm not trying to gross you out, people, but that's what it is. The law is set to go into effect July 1st. I don't know what's going to happen, people. Stephen Corson, glad to see you, brother. I had a good conversation with you today. I'm glad to see you here. Dangerous Freedom, Liberty, glad to see you, brother. You know, Republicans in the legislature, like I said, they're against this dismemberment procedure, just like you and I are. So we have to support them. We have to. What do y'all think about this kind of crap, man? Ain't this stuff just evil? And this is all coming out of the Demon Rat Party. This was a law that Mike Pence signed into law, but has not yet took effect. I'm not a big Mike Pence fan, but I'll guarantee you, on this, he did the right thing. The ACLU of Indiana sued on behalf of abortion doctors who performed evacuation abortions. Under the Pence law, a doctor who performed procedures can face felony charges and spend up to 6 years in prison. But they didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. They want to be able to abort children and get away with it willy-nilly with no repercussions of any kind. So Indiana's attorneys maintained the state had a valid role in limiting the types of abortion, citing a 2007 United States Supreme Court law that upheld the federal law banning the method. So if this method was banned in 2007, why is Planned Parenthood and their affiliates and other abortion clinics across America, why are they performing this abortion? If it was banned in 2007, it should be banned. Why is it allowed? I don't know. I'm sure that Michelle at Forbidden Information doesn't know. And I'm sure that Stephen Corson, another great pro-lifer, I'm sure he doesn't know either. By the way, check out Stephen Corson. The guy's got a great channel. He's an evangelist. He's a good guy. He's pro-life. Check him out. People, I wanted to tell you that the court upheld a portion of the 2016 law signed by then Governor Mike Pence requiring that they held this up. The burial of preborn remains has to be disposed of with dignity by burial or cremation. That's the only thing that the Supreme Court upheld in this whole decision. It had nothing to do with the murder of that preborn baby, but they said, yeah, you can have ceremonies for burying it or cremating it rather than throwing it in the trash. People, this stuff is happening in America every day. How do we let it happen? How do we let it happen, Liberty Smith? Liberty Smith, I know you, and I know Steve Corson and Dangerous Freedom. You're all good people. Tony Patriot, Dirtbag. I know all you people. I know you don't believe in this stuff. So how can they get away with it? According to the ACLU, Indiana has had 4 other anti-abortion laws blocked in the last couple of years. The ACLU and Planned Parenthood get all of these things blocked because the judges on the lower courts are all demon rats. They're all pro-abortion. They're anti-life. You know, Judge Barker made a decision just weeks ago after she allowed an abortion clinic to stay open in South Bend, Indiana. The abortion clinic was supposed to close. But federal courts have blocked similar laws in several states, including Kentucky and Ohio. So how are we going to fight these abortionist people? How are we going to do this? Pro-lifers, we fight every day. We have to deal with the sad stories. We have to deal with the sad facts of abortion. Not to mention child trafficking and child exploitation and child abuse and child sexual abuse. It's all connected, people. It's all evil. It's all of Satan. It takes a demonic mind and a satanic heart to harm a child in the womb or walking around. People, our children need us. They're being murdered and abused every day. You know, the governor of Indiana now is Eric Holmes, and he signed a measure that would make it illegal for abortion doctors to use metal instruments such as forceps, scissors, to remove a fetus from the womb to protect a woman's life and prevent serious health risks. People, I personally don't know about what the health risk is. I know that women face many health risks during an abortion, and it only makes sense that if they're going in there with scissors and forceps, pulling and tearing inside your uterus to get that baby out, that you could suffer a perforated uterus. You could have a perforated bladder. If that happens, people, that woman needs hospitalization really quick, and she may well die. So all the governor of Indiana is trying to do is to take away the instruments that they use to destroy these children and to harm these women. A lot of these women, I'll be honest with you, they get abortions. They're just deceived. They just don't see the light. They have no light in them. And they don't care how that baby is aborted as long as it's evacuated from their body and they don't have to deal with it ever again until the next time. So I'm going to say this, and I hope you get mad at me, and I don't care if you do. If you have one abortion, okay. You have two, you get sterilized. I know that's draconian. I've said it before. But I'm going to tell you, if you're going to have abortion after abortion after abortion, you need to be sterilized. Because evidently you don't know anything about birth control, condoms, or abstinence. You can't be whoring around all the time, getting pregnant, and having these kids aborted. People, it eats my lunch and it tears my heart out of my chest when I think about these poor children. And I don't care if they're black, white, red, green, or purple. They're all our children. You can't be racist and be pro-life. I'm pro-life for every child, no matter their race. You know, it's disgusting that the abortion industry just simply overturns laws that they don't like. All they have to do is file a lawsuit. People, every state that has passed a restrictive law against abortion has been sued by the ACLU and Planned Parenthood, and every one of those laws restrictive on abortion have been stopped. The abortions will continue until the Supreme Court hears these cases, and as of right now, they're rejecting every abortion case that comes before them. What are we supposed to do? We fight legally. We expect our Supreme Court to stand up, make a decision, but no. They make no decision and kick it back to the lower court, and in effect, disavowing any law that Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Ohio, Kentucky, Utah, any law that they put into effect does not go into effect because they filed a simple lawsuit. Then why can't we file a counter lawsuit to have it approved? But no, they file against us and we're stopped until the Supreme Court makes a decision. Now, how sick is that? It wouldn't be bad if we had a Supreme Court that would do their job, but we don't. The Supreme Court has absolutely nothing good to do for this country. The only thing they've ever done since they took Kavanaugh took office was they did make amendments for remains of aborted children, that they be treated with respect and dignity. But other than that, they've turned their back on abortion and refused to hear any of it. Thus, In effect, the lower courts make the decisions. People, that's wrong. Supreme Court needs to step up and do their job. We need decisions. We need rulings. Maybe Ruth Bader Ginsburg will pass away or disappear or something, and we'll get another Republican in there. But are they going to do the same thing that Kavanaugh's doing and Roberts and the rest of them? People, we can't have these Supreme Court justices sitting on their hands and doing nothing. How long are we going to sit by and just let them do nothing in the Supreme Court? That's our only hope, to overturn R.V. Wade. And I guarantee you, if an R.V. Wade case ever came before the Supreme Court, they would run for the hills. They won't touch it. People, we have to push it. We have to push this because the demon rats have the upper hand. They have the upper hand simply because they accuse us of being wrong. But yet we do what is right. We believe in the living God. We believe in protecting our children. We believe in taking care of our veterans and our elderly. But yet the demon rats want to take all that away. And they want to replace it with illegal immigrants not being able to break a law in the United States no matter what they do. How crazy is that? How far are these demon rats going to push us? How long are we going to let these people do this? As for me, I'm going to tell you, people, I'm ready to go to D.C. I can't wait to knock on some doors and to get in a couple of faces. I'm not going to be scared and I'm not going to be ashamed. I'm going there to be pro-life, and I'm going to make that stance known, and I'm sure Michelle will too. And anybody else that decides to go with us. We still have room for more people if you want to go. Join Michelle and I. Let's go to D.C. Let's go up there. Let's knock on these doors. Let's get in these people's faces. Let's ask them the hard questions. Of course, we'll never get the hard answers, but we'll be there asking them anyway. We'll put it out there in front of everybody to see. And then you'll see their non-responsive answers. Proving they're evil. People, I can't help it. Dismemberment abortion is the cruelest procedure that could ever be performed on a human body. The problem is, all that woman has to do, and y'all get mad at me if you want to, I don't care. All she has to do is get up there, put her feet in the stirrup, spread her legs. They go in there and they dismember that baby. People, she's evil. The abortionist is evil. The fact that it's even happening is evil and of Satan. How can any woman have their preborn child, their child, part of them ripped and torn from their body? It's got to stop, people. It's got to stop. I want to tell you a little story. We're going to get off of the abortion now. I've been on it for a long time. I didn't mean to go that long. I really didn't mean to go that long, people, and I apologize. But we're going to talk about an educator who was jailed for child exploitation. Paul Newberry, get this. He was a head teacher, and he live streamed sex abuse videos while on cocaine and meth. He's been in jail for 28 months. He should have been in jail for 28 years. Newberry regularly used the Zoom, whatever that is, video conferencing platform to view and discuss and share the most serious images of children being sexually abused by pedophiles. Man, how sick is that? Newberry was also a member of several pedophile groups in the messaging app Telegram, where he discussed and engaged exchanged child abuse material with hundreds of other people. He intended and invited fellow pedophiles to join his obscene group called Love Boys. Now, people, this is a teacher, a head teacher in a school. He admitted to collecting over 2,000 photos and videos of children being sexually abused. This is the teacher. They wanted to say there's no evidence that he had had contact with any children, but people, let me tell you something. I don't believe that for a minute. A pedophile is a pedophile. And it doesn't take very much to go from pedophile to pedophile. I don't care if you like it or not. It's the truth. You know, some of Newberry's videos featured very explicit sex with children. People, I don't ever want to see a video like that. I don't ever want to hear of a video like that because it's demonic, it's evil, it's of Satan, and only those of Satan would harm our children. People, it goes from the abortionist all the way up to the pedivores. They all are doing the same thing. They're serving one God, and that God is Satan. Plain and simple. There can be no living God in this at all. But I want to tell you a little story. I'm running up on 8:50. I'm going to try to make it to 9. So here we go. I'm going to tell you a good story for a change. A North Carolina woman, only known as Alexis. She had just begun the process of a chemical abortion. And at the last minute, she made a split decision because she was having an ultrasound. And that technician told her that you have twins. At 6 weeks pregnant, Alexis walked into that Preferred Women's Health Center. And once they performed the sonogram and she knew she was having twins, let me just read it to you. The technology doing an ultrasound told Alexis that she had twins. These words were enough for her. She had already begun the abortion process by swallowing the first abortion pill. In a daze, she walked out of the abortion clinic and she remembered what a sidewalk counselor had told her. This sidewalk counselor was Open Doors USA. These people counsel women going in for abortions before they go in, trying to talk them out of it. Well, this woman remembered that. Thank God for Open Door USA. You know, she was worried that it was too late to stop the abortion. And they told her it was too late for them to be saved. But the people outside the abortion clinic, moments after she walked out, she was on the phone with Help Pregnancy Centers, and she gave her desperate plea to them. And Catherine Park, the coordinator for Holy Pregnancy Center, got her started on treatment immediately. And with the help of the center, she had a baby. She had 2 babies. And the center that helped her stop this abortion gave her a shower. People, you have to understand, you can change your mind on abortion almost up until the last minute. There is an antidote for the first pill. So if you know anybody that's thinking of abortion and they've taken the first pill, let them know that there is a way to stop it. They don't have to abort that child. There is an antidote for the first pill. After the first pill, I guess you're pretty much on the way to evacuating that preborn baby from your system. Well, people, I've done pretty good. It's 8:55. I've done 55 minutes. But people, I want you to know, I'm always here. I hope my information, I hope my information has been put in there. I haven't been watching the chat too much because I've been busy. I hope you had a good time. People, I need to do this. This gives me an outlet to get all of my frustrations out and to get to you the truth that Michelle at Forbidden Information and I and Steve Corson and others live every day. I'm Deplorable Bobby. And this ain't the way I see it, people. This is the way it is. I want to thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I want to thank Pete, Mike Dwayne, Spirit Talker, 12B, Jervis, Dangerous Freedom. I want to thank y'all for hanging with me. I appreciate you, everyone. I'm going to sign out of here. Let somebody else take over. I love y'all, and we'll talk to you again.